On the sideline with head coach Jack Wright. Coach, that is kind of a typical JUCO game, I think, a pretty wild game. What happened after halftime that got y'all going?
I think we had a chance to kind of catch our breath as a coaching staff. There's, just sitting here after the game, it's hard to remember all of the order of events there in the first quarter. It happened so fast. We had a quick drive, and they struck right back, and there were so many kick returns in there, and they all kind of blend together in my mind right now. But it was a very wild game. Obviously, we made plenty of mistakes early that allowed them to score. To give them credit, they took advantage of those mistakes and put some points on the board.
The second half, it looked like y'all wanted to just kind of assert your dominance up front, and you talked about when you score a lot of points, you got to get the play up front.
We like to be balanced, Don. We love to run and throw and try to be a little bit unpredictable, and so we did come out throwing a little bit with some play action and try to hit some stuff real easy. We made some mistakes in the passing game, and that's surprising. To be honest with you, we've been really crisp in the first two games, so I'm a little bit surprised by that. But, I felt like the entire game we could run the ball. I never felt like they could, we couldn't run the football. And so we were struggling a little bit. And that's a really, really good answer to have when you're down and when you're struggling to run the football. So fortunately for us, we can do that. Some teams, when they're struggling, can't run the ball. So it really was the answer tonight, is to come back and hand off to our backs and let them get some holes behind that offensive line.
Jamari Thompson had 171 yards rushing, 22 carries. He averaged close to 8 yards. What'd you see out of T-Train?
Just really finishing runs, Don. I mean, he makes contact early, maybe shakes off. He just really, really finishes runs. When he gets into the secondary, those safeties, those corners get on him, and he always seems to fall forward and maybe knock a guy around a little bit for another 3, 4, 5 yards, and he did that a lot tonight. He took some licks. I mean, they were hitting him hard, but he did a great job of finishing runs when he got through first level.
Yeah, he kind of had to scrape himself up after he carried about 4 times, I think, on that first drive, maybe coming out of halftime. But he stayed in there. Then you bring Trey Hall in, and that touchdown run he made was unbelievable, 36-yard run.
Trey's a little spark plug. He's been really coming on, right around he started showing up at practice right around the time we kicked off for the first game. We saw a lot of promise out of him, and we went back and watched the film really close from last week, and he didn't, he made one big play on a screen pass last week. But if you watch him really close in the hole, he can do some things in the hole that are special. And so we needed him to keep coming along as a freshman and keep making those types of plays for us to be really good.
You mentioned special teams and all the returns. I mean, Dayon Bilbo was unbelievable.
I want to see the numbers, Don, when we leave here, on exactly how many return yards he had, kickoff return, punt return. He just did a fantastic job. That's the type of player he is. He's great in space. He made a couple of big pass receptions tonight in some tough situations too. So just a fantastic athlete, a great kid, and he comes to work every day. I'm glad to see he wound up with 2 touchdowns, from the offensive side tonight. But he's a dangerous guy when the ball gets in his hands. We need him. We need a little bit more juice on the perimeter, and he definitely is a guy that can give that to us.
People look at this final score and think the Regulators didn't play great. Probably wasn't their A-plus game, but they got put in some bad spots in that first half.
Sure, I mean, both sides didn't help each other out early, but I think throughout the game, as you mentioned, the running game come along, we started stopping the run on defense, and so that helped, and that kind of made them one-dimensional. They still made some plays in the passing game, though, so you got to give them credit, man. That quarterback is hard to hem down. They've got some dynamic receivers, and their offensive line, I thought, played pretty well, too. So they've got a good offense. They put up some numbers in the first 2 games, and that trend continued versus us.
That quarterback started the season as a defensive back. He has 2 interceptions. He didn't throw an interception tonight, so he's got more interceptions himself than he's thrown. But he was elusive all night. He did a great job. You got a huge game coming up next week. What are y'all going to be talking about here Sunday and through the week?
This is going to sound cliche, Don. East Mississippi's a big game for sure. in my mind, they're all big. You know, we treated these guys, you know, just as important as we're going to treat East. I'm sure, you know, East Mississippi has all of our players' attention. They'll have our coaching staff's attention. So we've got to get back in here on Sunday, lock in, have a great week, and another road trip for us. So, you know, just a challenge, but also an opportunity to go put our talent on display.
All right, thanks a lot, Jack.
Thank you.
On the sideline with sophomore running back Jamari Thompson, a very tired sophomore from Pearl, 22 carries, 171 yards. A lot of work in the second half. How did y'all get it done after halftime?
After halftime, we had a talk with no coaches. We all came together and told that we had to pick it up. We started off too low. We started off too slow, and we just came together as a team, and we came back for the victory.
You guys, you know, you ran for a ton of yards, and I know you and Trey and Chandler all did good things. But what about the guys up front? What'd you see from them?
Man, hey, I love the guys. They work hard every day in practice. They just opened the holes for me, and I did my job. They did an excellent job up front.
You know, I heard Coach talk to y'all about kind of the slow starts in the first half. Y'all were sloppy, had some turnovers and all that. What do y'all have to do to get that fixed?
We just got to come in practice Sunday and just be dialed in and be locked in, taking everything one step at a time. And we just got to come together as a team.
And I know that the defense got things locked down there in the second half. They took charge too. What'd you see when they were out on the field?
Defense, they was the ones who created the talk in the locker room, and they came together and said we not going for none of that no more. And they showed up. They stepped up tonight.
Got a big game next week against East Mississippi.
Yes,
you started thinking about it now?
Well, now since my mind off Southwest, yes, we gonna start thinking about East Mississippi, and we're gonna come in Sunday. Dialed in, ready to go.
Thank you, sir.
All right, yes, sir, thank you.
Here on the field with sophomore defensive tackle Kazarius Bowie from South Jackson. Kazarius, 5 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, a sack. You were eating tonight. What was it like up front for you?
I mean, they tried to run the ball up front, and me personally, I took that personally. You know, that's disrespectful, so had to shut it down. You know, we started off slow and had to pick it up, so wanted to make a big impact for the team.
People are going to look at the score and see, you know, y'all gave up 33 points. Y'all got put in some bad situations, and I thought y'all fought pretty well through that. What was it like there in the first quarter, especially where things were a little bit ugly for y'all?
I mean, personally, you know, as a defense, our whole entire mindset is we don't care where you put the ball at. The ball can be on the half-yard line like it was week 1. We want to stop you. We want to force you to get a field goal, and even from there, we want you to miss the field goal. We don't want to give up any type of points. This game does not change that at all. We're going to keep on doing that throughout the season. We kept that mindset then.
Second half, I thought y'all were a lot more dominant. What changed, or what were y'all doing that got them basically shut down?
I mean, we're Gulf Coast. We know what we came here to do. Offense got defense back. Defense got offensive back. It's just that simple. That's all we had to talk about when we went inside.
All right, Bowie, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Don.